This video is very much, I would say, a different look than what I typically do. But we are looking at the National Guard currently over in the state of Cheese. I will say that because I don't want YouTube to suppress this video any more than I think it's going to be. But I'm not going to go into the details of this case, but I want you guys to say, I'm assuming you have watched and done hours of watching like I have of this case, because it would seem pretty obvious what I think should be the outcome. But looking at this at the root, I have to say this. When you look at this, during this time back last year, they were talking about defunding the police. There were not enough presence in that area. And so people took to the streets to try and fill that. Supply, demand. Things have to eventually meet up at some point. If those guys weren't there, who would have been called? National Guard. And we are seeing the National Guard the past 2 years, I want to say, being run through the ringer. You're talking DC, driving buses for shortages. I saw Angry Cops did a video about them taking over as nursing staff in certain places, and seeing the demand at which our National Guardsmen have had to rise to the occasion, that it seems to come to the rescue every single time. They get the call, they show up. I said it back during DC, and I'm saying it right now too. I have to have a little bit of compassion for these men and women that are rising to the cause. The outcome of this, if it comes out as guilty, I will say that the idea that people can do these acts, loot, etc., will be validated. And that is a very scary thing. Let them do what they want. We'll try and prosecute maybe. And we'll probably just let insurance, hopefully, because we know they're there for the people that are paying for it, get their businesses insured and ensure that they are able to go back up and running and pay deductibles, etc. And it is very scary. It is literally at the point now where I'm saying, like, do we just let people run amok? I think the idea that America has been known as this land where you're able to defend yourself and be the land that is based on having that right to, right? And that is why this is such a big deal. I know, obviously self-defense, 2A, all that kind of stuff. And realistically, I look at this not only from a domestic view, but I look at it from a global view. If you look back at history, why was America not attacked in a traditional sense? It was known that Americans were willing to raise up in arms in order to protect themselves. And I look at it and I'm like, is this going to make people now question to even pull when they need to pull? What political game is going to be played there? And it kind of has made me emotionally charged to make this video and talk about it, because that is something that I personally have protected, and I truthfully believe the more I've gotten older, the more I've understood, and I've watched every bit of this case unfiltered, not through a news media source. This is going to have long-lasting effects. It's going to be something that I think we're going to see even more modifications to 2A things. I honestly, as I get older, I have never even owned a weapon. I've obviously done military exercises where I've had to shoot pistols, shotgun, and rifle before, but I've never personally owned my own thing or my own weapon at my house. And as I'm coming back to the States, I'd like to do that. And I can only tell you, as I'm about to transfer back, because I'm coming from a country where they can't, and whatever, going to go on forward, I'm like, how many restrictions are we going to have? How many things are we going to have that are going to hinder this? As somebody that's looking to get into ownership, and I'm like, this doesn't feel like a right. This doesn't feel like free, if that makes sense. I'm like, man, how many different rules and regulations and laws, and you can do this here, but you can't do that there. And I'm just like, whoa, man, this is too much, because we saw last year there were National Guardsmen that were being approached by people and saying, take a knee with us, do this with us. And, you know, I don't know if those service members got in trouble. I don't know what happened. You know, there's only a few per corner or whatever. And we've seen what mobs can do to certain people. What if that happened to one of the National Guardsmen? It puts them in a very iffy spot. And the fact that we're to that has got me very concerned for them. The safety of our service members, the actions that should be taken, right? Because we would all like to say that these National Guardsmen are going to stand up, post up with their flak, their Kevlar, their weapons, and say, we are here as a presence. But I truthfully think that line is becoming more blurred and harder to see. I don't want to see anything happen to a service member, anyone for that case. But what I want to say is it's getting me worried as we are using them more and more to put them as a force, as a presence, to be an identity, a pawn at certain points. And, you know, I just don't want to see anything bad happen. And that's the craziness of this, is I cannot think of a single time, any other time in my life. I'm about to be 32, coming up on the next year. I've never seen the National Guard be used as much and in this type of situation. You can't get away from it. So overall, I want to say that I'd like to know what you guys think about this. What do you think the verdict's going to be? What do you think is going to come out of it? Because when I look at this, it's a darned if you do, darned if you don't situation. Innocent, cool. You've now given the pass to say accountability of all these other people that have done bad things in this city, pretty much good to go. What's the next city that's going to be hit? And then if you look at it from the other side, if it's guilty, the city is still going to be destroyed. Or another city, or wherever, and it's just going to still perpetuate. And it's like, where does the buck stop? And that is got me very concerned. And like I said, for the safety of our service members, the safety of the people of that city, I am worried. I'm concerned because I see the next thing that's going to happen. And I'm not trying to speak into fruition. I'm trying to give my own warning of like, I feel like the next level, we've talked about police. We've talked about people that are in this military pseudo side. The last thing I could see is someone coming after the military. And that's just what I'm seeing. I could see that, and I want to know what you guys think about it. And it has me concerned because I feel like it would put somebody in a very compromising situation. And, yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you guys like what we do here, you can always support over at patreon.com for special perks and benefits. On top of that, you also support over at the YouTube join button below this video for special perks and benefits here on YouTube. If you guys have questions about this or anything else, you can always hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, or down in the comments below. I love you guys. See you next time.